Okay.
Okay, we should be live, I think.
There we go.
Because
Oh,
you
let
are
me see.
live.
So we are live.
All
And
right.
we have our epic RV adventure on. Is it Michael or Shelly tonight?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hey, hey. So we'll spend a minute or
How come it's doing that?
hey.
There we go.
Ooh, I got to mute this. Hold on. Gotta mute. Mute. There we go. All right. I think we're set.
Yeah, it said you
Oh,
are
Michael, you are stuck with the beacon.
live.
All right, Michael, glad you made it here. Hi, Kathy. And Wandering Wiley. Hello, Wiley.
Hey, 6 watching already.
Nice to have you in here. Cool. So I don't know if you could tell, but this evening's live. We have Blake with New Vision Security Services with us.
Yeah, we gonna talk about some
Yay!
stuff. I'm gonna knock these RVers
Yes.
upside the head. Stay out my way. What I'm trying to tell you.
You know, I'm ready to hear that because I have a feeling you got some stories to tell.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah.
Now you're an RVer too, right?
No, we don't have an RV yet, and that's how I came amongst this community. Is
Oh, okay.
I've been, I take my time when it comes to spending my money, um, and I'm a very big researcher, and whatever it is my wife and I would like to do, the boat, I did a ton of research, and this RV thing, because initially I was looking at a Super C's, because obviously I drive a Freightliner. I know the chassis, I know the build, I know all the ins and outs of it, and it made sense. It rides comfortable, has everything. If my wife needs to go to the bathroom, she can go to the bathroom, so there's no inconvenience.
Right.
So I just went online and on YouTube and started looking at RVs and things, and I stumbled upon, I can't even remember whose stream. I was just in there, asking questions and chatting, and then from then to now, it's just been whew, you know, a quick blur.
All right. And one of the things that I wanted to ask now that I know, because see, I thought you had an RV, and Brian was asking, if you had an RV. For some reason, I thought you did.
No, I did that video when I went up to Haylett RV to look at that open range travel trailer, because I spoke with my sales lady there, Joelle, and she's like, hey, I think this one fits what you need. Watched Josh did a video on it, watched the video, and I liked it. And I'm a face-to-face kind of business person. So I said, okay, not a problem. I'm coming up there to see this travel trailer. And she was like, okay, well, just let me know. And I don't know if she took me seriously, but next phone call I called her, I was across the street waiting for her to get there, because they got the poles that they chain so nobody can get in, and she came out with the jump battery thing to hook up to power the travel trailer, and I did that video.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So I bet you have some stories to tell on the road.
Hey,
And
listen,
let me
I
see. I
tell
think
every
I've got this
RVer,
here.
every
So let
RVer,
me.
stay out the way.
Oh, let me take this down. So I'm sure you've come across funny things, right?
Yes, ma'am. Some horrible thing. I've come across some horrible things, horrible drivers. I'm telling you, you name it. I don't know what people are thinking, because let me just tell you, there are a lot of truck drivers out here that are crazy. I'm just telling you, folks, they crazy, and
Well,
they
there's a
will put.
bad apple no matter whether
Yeah,
you're a truck driver, RVer, car.
yeah. But the dangerous thing about this is, right? Even empty, I'm over 30,000 pounds.
Right.
Okay, so my distance for anything is quadruple of yours, right? So when you get into these kind of weights and these kind of machines, they are extra deadly. Okay, what's going on, Miss Melnetti? Yeah, snack time. Okay, snack lady. Yeah, but
Snack time. What
yeah,
you eating,
hey,
Daddy?
when I see her and Miss Doreen, I know it's snack time. That's
Right?
it. And yeah, and Miss Teresa, the three amigos, snack time. But you know, and you have people out here that I say they play chicken with us. You know what I mean? Um, you know, they'll cut in front of you, hold up the lane, or if
Brake
they
check.
feel you, yeah, brake checks, and if they feel you cut them off, you know, they do all kinds of crazy stuff. And I'm saying to myself, hey, dum dum, I'm gonna hold this steering wheel and I'm gonna go straight. Okay. I'm not veering to the left. I'm not veering to the right because then I'm responsible for that collateral damage.
Right.
So I have to stay going straight. Now, however long it takes me to stop all of this going straight, wherever that puts you, I'm sorry, but that's where you put yourself.
Well, one thing I've always thought to myself is I never wanted to be in front of a semi going down a hill, because if he gets to a point to where he can't brake or he loses his brakes and he can't stop, I'm gone. You know.
Yeah. So, you know, we have exhaust brake, Jake brakes, you know, exhaust brakes, whatever you want to call them. But there are drivers out here, especially now because the industry has gotten so huge, and they get thrown into these rigs and sent out to run these loads, and they do not know the ins and outs and functions of these rigs, and they will you know, be going downhill and burn their brakes. I mean, you'll smell them burning, you know,
Right.
you'll smell them burning, and they don't realize that they have an exhaust brake to take the brunt of that, and they're trying to ride the brake pedal going downhill. You know, even if you're 60,000 pounds, right, and you're going down, you know, 6% grade or 7% grade, it's a wrap on the brake pads.
Yeah.
Yep. What's up, KNR? You know, so I tell people, hey, listen, not me, right? Because I drive like I got common sense. But I tell people, listen, if you see a truck coming in your rearview mirror and you're in the left lane, you got two options: speed up and keep it moving, or
Or
move
get
out
out of
the
the
way,
way.
Mhm.
Yep.
right?
Yep.
But you sitting there thinking that you're going to teach this truck driver a lesson, it never works, because some of
Nope.
them out here will put that bumper in your trunk and not care. They don't care about the ticket. They don't care about the insurance. They're like, whatever. They were a dumb, you know what, and they shouldn't have been in my way. I'm just telling you, because
Right.
they have that I'm the king of the road mentality. I'm trying to get this stuff to whatever store so that you can buy it. So move out my way.
But you know what? I think that they should have the king of the road mentality and people should get out of their way. That's kind of the
Yes,
way I think about it. I'm not a truck driver,
but
but I think that I'm smart enough that if I think that I'm going to be in the way of a truck driver, I move,
yeah,
because they're bigger than me. Even in our RV, we're only 12,000 pounds. So, you know, 30,000 pounds coming at us at minimum weight.
Or 80,000.
Well, yeah, if
full
they've got a
load.
full load, I'm
yeah,
moving the heck out of their way, you know?
yeah. And I mean, you know, just like, let me go back up here. Wandering Wally said he ran 80 plus. You know, and that's the way. That's the way that they were trained. You know, they were. Hey, listen, put the pedal to the floor and keep it moving. And some of these companies are training like that, and you're not stopping something this size that's rolling at 80 miles an hour. Okay. And if you are the unfortunate person or people that are in front of it, I'm sorry. I feel sorry for you, because there's nothing that driver can do. Even if let's say they have to veer and swerve to the side, right? It's a rocket. So it's going through the median over into oncoming traffic. It's going somewhere.
Right.
You know, it's going
Yeah.
somewhere. But in the same aspect, we're supposed to share the road. right? We're supposed to have a mutual respect for each other. And that's how I operate out here. I mean, I see someone coming down the on-ramp, I'll slow down, flash my lights, let them get in so they can kick, because not everybody understands that that distance when you're going to come off or on the highway, that's an acceleration period.
Yes.
You know, when you're getting off the highway, that's a deceleration period. And some people don't understand when they coming to get on the roadway to hit the gas.
Right.
The worst thing you want to do is you're in that acceleration lane halfway almost on a highway and you're on the brakes.
Uh-huh.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm flashing my lights telling them, you know, hey, come over, hit the gas, because when you're in front of me, I have more control.
Right. So I have a question. So that leads me to a question. My dad taught me when I first started learning how to drive that if you're on the road with a semi truck and they're passing you and they want to be able to get into your lane in front of you, it's courtesy to flash your lights to let them know they've got enough room to come over. Is that still a courtesy on the road today?
Yes. So if I see someone, you know, whether they're on my left side or my right side or coming on whatever, I will, if they put their turn signal on, right? Because the majority of people don't know what a blinker is anymore.
I know, right?
Right. So, you know, I will flash my lights at them to tell them it's okay for them to come over, right? Now, I'm going to be nice, right? For the retarded people that think that soon as you pass me is a good time to come into my lane, that is the wrong. I mean, I'm talking about like ain't even a car space between the front of me and the end of them. And for some, I don't know why they do it, but immediately as soon as they clear the front of the truck, they come over. Right, and there'll be no one behind them, no one, you know, rushing them. They just, and there's a whole empty highway in front of them. But for some reason, they feel, hey, okay, I just cleared them. Let me rush back into the middle lane. You know, like
and in the rain, and in the rain.
Yeah, man. And I'm like, you know, hey, are you trying to, like, what are you doing? But then, on the same note, you have to be careful because some of those people. Oh, wait a minute. Did I just go blurry? I think
you did.
So. Let me see if I can get it.
There you go.
There we go. Some of those people are the ones that are trying to get into a wreck and survive it, right? So that they can hire one of those lawyers on the billboard there, and you know, so, you know, the Hammer or whoever he is, right? Hire one of them dudes to
I remember those. Two.
Yeah,
you know, to get paid. And I'm like, okay, if you die, who gets paid? Because it ain't gonna be you, you know.
You know, so this is a situation that happened to us. I think the last time we were on the road, and we were on 58, heading over Timpanogos. No, not Tehachapi
in California.
And so we're going up a hill, and trucks, they're, you know, especially if they got a full load, they're running slower. Well, in our rig, I think I was going about 45, passing a truck that was going about 35 because it was quite a hill.
Yeah.
Well, when I decided to get over to pass this truck, there weren't any cars but way back there. Well, I guess this one guy was a bullet and he was just in a super fast, wanted to be in he was in a hurry. So I'm chugging along to pass this truck, but I wasn't going fast enough. Well, also too, I want to make sure I got plenty of room between me and that truck before I move over into his lane. I wasn't moving fast enough. This guy, he squeezed. The truck is still in the slow lane. I'm still in the fast lane, getting ready to go into the slow lane. And this car darted between us, got in front of me, and brake checked me. And you know, I was kind of dumbfounded because, okay, I'm only 12,000. Well, we're only 12,000 pounds, not 80,000. But you brake check a larger vehicle like that, your ass is gonna be on the ground. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, hey, listen, I tell them, hey, listen, I promise you there's nothing I can do but hold on to the steering wheel and go straight. Just like our Epic there, RV Adventure, they said their dash cams caught a lot of people who cut them off early for no reason. I'm telling you, they just like there's no one behind them. There's a clear road in front of them, and for some reason they're in a rush to just get over. And then K&R, Kyle said somebody came over so fast on them that it hit his cattle guard, which is the big push bumper, right, on the front of his truck. Or you get the ones, right? Now, mind you, my truck is governed at 65, okay? So the only time I go faster than that is when I'm coasting down a hill, right? But I'm in the right lane because, right, 2-lane, 3-lane, doesn't matter. I ride in the right lane. I can only go 65. What am I going to do, right? But you'll have those people that will be over in the left lane, right, and realize the same exit that they get off at every day.
Wait till the last second.
Right. And I'm talking about they cut across 2 lanes, 3 lanes, 4 lanes in a straight line across the highway from the left lane, and then look at you and flip you off. Right.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, we're not just talking about car people. We're talking about people in the RV. I don't know if they was running out of fuel, didn't want to miss the rest area. I don't know what it was. They'll play that game too, or the ones that are, I just say, towing improperly, where the vehicle and the trailer in the middle, they're in a V like this, right?
I bet you see that and you're just shaking your head.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to tell you, because as much information is out here from other RVers, like yourselves and everyone, and that this is not sufficient.
No, it's not.
In no way, shape, or form, if your vehicle and tow vehicle, when they're at the hookup point, are in a V, there is a serious issue with your setup. Now, some of them don't care because they've been doing it and nothing's happened, so it's another roll of the dice. And they don't care about being overloaded. They just know that they trying to get to whatever campground they are. But, even with the anti-sway setup, right, you'll still see them, because it's working double. It's working double time when you're not even level, and it's, they're going down the road and the wind is slapping them all across. And then you get, something like this, right, that passes them and it disrupts the air even worse, you know. And I just look at them, and I just shake my head, right? And I just keep on going because I'm saying to myself, you're willing to kill yourself or others for the sake of what? Getting to a campground,
right?
Or to a family reunion or something like that. You knew when you hooked that mess up before you left and you stood back and looked at it, that it was 2 ways wrong. It was 2 ways wrong. But hey, they do what they do, and they're not going to stop until something bad happens.
So when you're traveling down the road and you see something stupid like that, because I know as a trucker, you had to learn a whole new language, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yep.
Yeah.
You're correct. Yeah.
So,
this is a whole different ball game. Yeah, I'm glad, Miss Ryan, that Kyle feels my pain. Because it's painful out here, it is pain. And that's why another reason why every morning before I move the truck, I read my scripture, to mentally and physically prepare me for what I am going to endure. Right?
Prepare for battle.
I'm telling you, even when you get into the city streets, hey, I've got a 53-foot trailer. So the trailer's, that's longer than, that's the trailer alone is longer than a fifth wheel RV, right? Or a Class A, whatever, unless you get one of those Prevost buses, So I've got all of that back there, plus from the kingpin forward that I've got to manipulate, around, corners, and I got to swing wide. Some of these intersections weren't made for that, so I go out wide to make the turn to compensate for the trailer swing, right? Because the trailer's going to cut tighter than the front of the truck. And you got someone sitting there at the white line, right?
Yeah.
And they don't want to back up. Now, I can't go back. I can't go forward because the trailer's going to run over their hood. So, and they'll sit there and look at me, and I throw my hands up like this. Hey, I need you to back up, and then like backing up is a chore, so they throw their hands up and they get pissed and in the mirror and, doing all that business. I'm saying, hey, listen, this is your crap. I'm trying to get to the store.
Mm-hmm.
So
speaking of from the kingpin forward, do you have a sleeper? You have a sleeper, right? In your
yes,
cab?
Yeah.
So it's almost like you're driving an RV because you have a sleeper. I'm sure you've got like a little kitchenette. You have probably a microwave.
Yeah, microwave, refrigerator, closed closet, 2 beds, a bunch of storage up there. But it's some people consider this their home. This ain't my home. This is my office on wheels. You know what I mean? I make it as comfortable. As I can while I'm on the road. When I'm doing heavy loads, K&R, or wide loads, 25 years.
How
Kyle's been driving.
How about this comfortable, Blake?
No, that's not. No, ma'am. No. Now, hey, I'm telling you, hey, folks, let me tell you, some of these drivers out here, they go down the road using the bathroom. Don't even,
I've heard about the pee bottles.
Yeah.
Getting tossed out the window.
Yeah, I mean, they do some crazy stuff, and like Melnetti, she's a truck driver.
Yeah, she was for 3 years, I think she said.
I still, hey, listen, I don't care how long you did it. To me, she's a truck driver, right? Once you get behind this wheel, the law considers us professional drivers, right? It's like, what? Okay, whatever. Because they say, we are trained to do more and to be better than your average, normal, everyday driver. Right? That doesn't apply to all of them. But if you got a CDL, that's how the law considers you. But I mean, so like total length, right? From the back of the trailer to the nose, I am about 65 feet. Right, total. And, and I've got to compensate for that 65 feet, at all times.
Right.
Unless I'm bobtail and I don't have a trailer,
What's bobtailing?
So bobtail is when you don't have a trailer hooked to your truck. It's just a cab.
Okay.
Yep. That's called bobtailing when you drive in just a cab with no trailer. And your average person does not, they see us, say, oh, there's a truck, truck driver, okay, doing what they do, but they don't understand what it takes to do this,
right.
To park it, in between 2 lines, and let me tell you.
I'm impressed because when we go to a truck stop and I see you guys back into your spots to stop for the night, I mean, you guys are like this far apart from each other, backed up, lined up. I'm like, man, that's impressive.
Now let me tell you, hey, listen, let me tell the people of YouTube something. I watched some of these videos, these RV videos on how to back up, park an RV.
They don't know nothing.
Listen, no, I mean, it's not that they don't know nothing, right? But they're putting so much extra into it that they're making it more work. They make you go. If you watch a lot of these videos, you go into parking your RV with anxiety after watching this mess, right?
Right.
Because they're like, you know, do this. Okay, stop, turn your wheels. Okay, be in a V, you know, put this cone out, you know, be on the walkie-talkies, you know. And I'm saying to myself, walkie-talkie? I didn't even, right, never heard of this stuff until I became a part of this RV community. Oh yeah, really, yeah, I know the feeling. Our RV is 45 plus the truck, so
Vaseline
feet
driving
making
school.
almost 60 feet down.
Right
Yeah,
up before.
yeah. And K&R said not all have been trained right. Yeah, man. Like they went through Vaseline driving school. Yeah, I'm trying to tell you, right? I'm trying to tell you,
right out
hey,
back door.
right? Before, I'm trying to, you know, so if you have a, you know, class A, class B, class C, whatever, right? With no trailer, right? So you don't have a secondary pivot point, right? It's just you're turning, and then your rear wheels, your rear axle is your pivot point. That, you know, it rotates on those tires, right? So it's fairly easy. I mean, you're just compensating for your distance, right? But it's okay. But when you get into the fifth wheel aspect of it, or if you have an RV and you're towing a trailer, right? Then you know, like that pivot point is way back there, right? So, and I tell people, hey, listen, when you are operating a fifth wheel, you know, a hookup like that, you're going to pull up to where you want to park, right? Your pivot point is the fifth wheel hitch in the bed of your truck. Okay, so when that part of your setup hits that parking spot, then you go the other direction. So if your parking spot is on your left, when you hit that part, turn the wheel to the right and start taking your whole setup out to the right. So that what you're doing is you're lining up the back of your trailer, your RV or trailer, whatever you have, right? With it, you're lining it up so that it's at the beginning between the lines of where you want to park it, right? At an angle, if that makes sense. So if your lines are like this, the back of your trailer is going to be like this at an angle, right? So you're already starting off with the back of your trailer lined up at an angle to put it in the box. That's what we call it as truck drivers. You know, we're putting the trailer in the box. Get the back of the trailer in a box. Right, really creative. Yeah. So you ain't doing a bunch of zigzagging and V's and, I don't know, flashing lights and all this kind of stuff, right? Your concept is if you turn your steering wheel to the right, the back of the trailer is going to go to the left. Pull up like an S. Yes, Miss Melnet. See, Miss Melnetti, she's a truck driver, right? You pull up when your fifth wheel, or you can say the pin, whatever you want to call it, when that hitch hits that parking spot, then you go the opposite direction and like this, and then back like that, so that you're at an angle to the parking spot, right? You're lining up the back of your trailer already to the spot where you want to put it. You turn your wheels to the right because you want the back of the trailer to do what? Come back and go to the left, right? So that you're backing in like this, right? Another key thing, don't stop moving. Go slow. Always keep the wheel moving, right? When you're backing up slow, if you turn your steering wheel the wrong way, you're going to instantly see the trailer respond.
So that's the mistake I made when we got stuck in you know what started this,
because we don't have
a trailer,
right? We just have the wheel.
Yeah. No, I'm teasing, Blake. I didn't mean to interrupt, but
no, you're good.
One of the things that got me to thinking about doing this whole truckers versus RVers thing was when on our last video before last, when I did bad decisions. I don't know if you saw that. I almost didn't.
Yeah, when you guys got stuck.
Yeah, I almost didn't post that video because I was embarrassed that I looked like I was stupid getting stuck driving in there, you know. Yeah. But it really got me to thinking about, you know, truckers on the road and how they manage to maneuver around, and how truckers could teach RVers how to best move around. Because, you know, like me, I've not been to school to learn how to drive an RV on the road.
Yeah.
We don't tow. We choose not to tow. We don't want to tow. But there's a lot of people out there, fifth wheels, pull trailers, you know, all different
Yeah.
types of,
Dragging their chase car.
yeah,
Yeah.
or their boat,
Yeah.
you know, because you
Yeah.
got a boat, you know, and what kind of things could we learn as RVers from truckers on the
Yeah.
road?
And like Rayleigh, you know, Rayleigh, he said, thank God for pull throughs, right? Because
Yeah,
there's
no
some
threat.
people, right? I mean, there's some people that they do not want to learn how to, you know, properly back up a setup, you know. Everything they do, they want it to be, you know, pull through, nose in, you know, maybe at a slight angle, like at a rest area or something like that, right? But back in that thing, and I mean, I've seen people, you know, 30 minutes, you know, trying to do something, and they just, you know, they're having a hard time because they stop, turn the wheel, get going, stop, turn the wheel, get going, stop, turn the wheel, you know, and you're never going to make sure when you do that, you have to make big corrections.
Right.
But as long as you're going slow, every time you turn the wheel, no matter what direction you turn it, you can catch it, right? Because you turn it, you be like, oh, wrong way, and then you catch it. You
Yeah.
see? So, but your average person who's not a truck driver or who just wanted to get into camping and they bought a setup, right? They didn't go to, you know, so they watch videos and then they go in a parking lot or something and put some cones out, you know, and do all that stuff. But, you know, which if that's a training tool that works for them, great. But when you start adding all of these things like cones and lights, and then you got someone on a walkie-talkie, no, the other way, no, too much, you know, you know, you got a death grip on the wheel, right? Because you're afraid you're going to wreck your RV or travel trailer, whatever you have. And, you know, it just puts so much pressure, right? But if you just pull up, stop, look at it, say, okay, I want to get this from here. Okay, step one, let me pull up and get at an angle so I can have that, you know, the back of the trailer at the right angle. And once you do that, you start backing up real slow, put it in reverse. I mean, every vehicle I know, you put it in reverse, like the transmission automatically starts, you know, rolling 2, 3, 4 miles an hour, right? And then
Right.
you can just, you know, with the steering wheel, right, left, short corrections. Yeah, I've seen people that can't even back up a car. Yeah, I'm trying to tell you. Right? They get horrible out here, man. And then what happens is they can't back up or park, right? And everyone around them gets impatient because they're holding up everyone.
Right.
And then
Yeah.
people are honking, flipping, cussing, yelling, which adds more to if the person already has enough anxiety as it is, right? And now
Yeah.
they really can't get it right because now they're really under pressure. And you got people saying, hey, you want me to do it for you? You know, you're going to let somebody else hop in your vehicle and spin it around. And if they hit something, oh, well, here you go, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it gets crazy. See, that Swift is one of the most shut up on it.
So
Short one.
when it comes to etiquette on the road and also at truck stops, because when Brian and I first started on our trip, I didn't know what the etiquette was as an RVer at a truck stop. You know, it's I know that a lot of truck stops now are also accommodating RVers having RV slots. You know, so
Yes.
there's actually designated RV sections now. But what we found is that the RV parking lots, they're at an angle and it's really hard to like get level. Well,
Yeah.
we're small enough that we can back up into a parking spot, and if our tail end is at the sidewalk, we can actually back up enough to be in a regular parking spot. But there's been times when there wasn't room and we drove around back to park to see if we could park in the trucker area. What's your take on RVs parking in the truck areas?
I'm going to say this. I said this before. Someone didn't agree with me, but I'm going to say it again. I can't remember who it was that they felt, you know, all truck drivers should. Oh, I hear an echo. Wait a minute. Did I hit that? Nope, that's off. All right. But I'm going to say this again. Truck drivers don't even respect other truck drivers at truck stops anymore. Okay. So I said that to say this. If there's a parking spot that's open and you are coming into the truck stop to rest for the day, night, whatever it is, you are entitled to park in a spot just like anyone else.
Yeah,
That
but I
is,
bet not all truck drivers believe that or think
that's
that way.
okay. But here's the great thing. Here's the great thing, right? The great thing is that they don't own anything. It is private property that is run by whatever that truck stop company is, Pilot, Flying J, whatever, okay? And you are entitled per their rules, right? Not a truck driver's. Truck driver ain't got no rules in no parking lot. You are entitled to park in a parking space just like the next person. We got, I mean, now you got like even, KT, right? They hauling RVs, right? They're not in a tractor trailer, they're in a dually, but they're hauling for, they're out on the road. What are you gonna say? Oh, you can't park in here because you're not a big rig? It's
Well,
stupid.
the reason that I say that is, I mean, to me, it's common courtesy as an RVer that if there's open parking spots in the truck spot, to try not to take them, because you guys are working. You guys have your limited amount of time that you're allowed to drive and be on the road. The amount of time that you have to rest before you can get back on the road, you need that space. So I would think as an RVer, I would want to be more considerate, not take up those spaces so you guys don't have to try to find somewhere else.
Well, there's more trucks and truck drivers on the road than there are spaces, right? So everybody's fighting for everybody. Anybody who's out traveling on the road, if you're not in a little small car, right, or a pickup truck, something like that, you are fighting for real estate. Typically after 6, 7, right around at 5, 6 o'clock, you might want to have a place to park, because after that it starts getting very, very thin, right? So
rest stop at Oceanside.
Yeah. Oh, there was a spot that I think it was in Albuquerque, New Mexico. We were trying to find a place to stay for the night, and we went to stay at a what was it, Cabela's or something like that. Well, anyway, I got online and I looked. There was this place that we could park behind a casino. This casino, the dirt parking lot was 2 acres at least. It was huge. Well, we got there about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and we saw these truckers lined up, at the beginning. So we drove all the way to the other end, found a place that we could park next to a light post that was level, and we thought we were good. We weren't going to be in a trucker's way. But as time went on, 6, 7, 8 o'clock, I mean, we got crowded over. And I thought, oh man, we're pretty good, because we're parked right next to a stoplight or a street light. This reefer truck pulled his nose up to that street lamp and parked it for the night, where his reefer was going on and off right where I was sleeping. I'm like, I thought we were safe. I thought we were out of their way, but oh man,
okay, our Epic says, they're not a fan of RV parking and trucks unless there's a lot of empty space. And hey, that's fine, right? And then look, you got Mel Nettie, she's getting fired up in here. She, Mel Nettie, she's like, take it. It's not their property. Hey, Mel Nettie, I'm right with you, sister. I'm trying to tell you. Because here's why, right? I've been to a rest area that had RV parking and truck parking and then regular car parking, all separated, right? Who do you think pulled in there?
Little cars.
And took up the RV spots.
Little cars.
Exactly. We came across that.
We catch that a lot.
Okay, so the truck drivers aren't respecting the fact that their RV is on the road, and these rest areas are making spots for RVers, and they're like, oh, well, you know what? Hey, ain't no RV here right now, whatever, right? And they take the spot. So they don't have any respect for your spaces, right? That these municipalities have put in for you, right? I don't park in an RV spot, right?
Well,
why?
Yeah,
because right. Well, because I'm respectful, right? And and you out on the road traveling, doing whatever it is that you're trying to do, and you need somewhere to stop for the day and rest, right? So whether it's a rest area, truck stop, or whatever, if you need a parking space and there's a parking spot available, I tell you, take the parking spot. Because if you don't get no rest and you out there going on down the road, you are just as dangerous as me if I didn't get any rest.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, we that's kind of, you know, that's a good point, because when Brian and I were heading south from Oregon into California, we stopped at a rest stop that said a 4-hour rest only. We're like, we're ready to stop for the night. We're tired. We don't want to get up in the middle of the night and head down the road. So
4-hour limit.
4-hour limit at this
Yeah.
rest stop. You know,
Yeah.
so we decided, what the heck, man, we're staying. We got to have the rest. If they want to have an issue with us, you know, they can knock on the door. Well, we woke up in the morning and we had a notice on our windshield.
A warning notice
A
that you
warning
stayed over
notice.
4 hours.
I'm
Yeah.
like, really?
Or they put a little orange sticker on there or something.
Yeah.
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 Oh, that was something. I couldn't believe that.
Because here's the other option that you're stuck with, okay? If you want to, you know, not take up a truck parking spot, whatever, then you are forced to pay for a parking spot at a truck stop. Now, mind you, during the day, the price is between $8 and $10 for a parking spot at Pilot, Flying J, TA, Loves, you know, not all, you know, Pilot, Flying J, and the TA, those three all have paid parking, no matter, majority of them. And then
I didn't know
Loves
there
is
was
kind of
paid
iffy.
parking.
Yes. Now, during the day, right, morning to mid-afternoon, that parking spot may be $8. Once around 4 o'clock hits, I think it is, the parking spot goes from $8 to $15.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And they do that, the truck stop, these big name truck stops do that because parking gets harder to find in the evening. So they double the cost of the parking spot to make you pay for it if you want to park there and there's no open spots.
Now, see, that's interesting to know. I didn't know there was
the reserve parking section.
section.
The reserve parking, right?
Yeah.
You got non-handicap parking in handicap spots, right? So they're not respecting anyone else's space. If you're not handicapped, why are you parking in a handicap spot? Well, there's no other parking spots, and I want to get some sleep. Okay, but that's a $500 ticket.
Yeah,
that's the most expensive parking spot I ever seen in my life, right? And I'm handicapped, right? So I've had to go inside to the store and say, hey, because they don't patrol the parking lot, right? There's one truck stop, and that's the TA in Alabama that pays the sheriff to manage their parking lot.
Yeah.
And they're not really there during the day, but once the evening time comes, there's 2 sheriff deputies riding around in the SUVs, and I'm telling you, there's not one truck out of line. If there's parking lines, your truck better be in it.
Right. Yeah.
Because either they're going to ticket you, or they're going to tell you, move out the way. You know, you got to leave.
You know, I forgot to ask at the beginning of the interview, how long have you been driving semis?
A year. Wait a minute. No, I just hit 2 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Rayleigh Creative. Yeah, it's $15. I've seen it as high as 20 in some places. If it's a truck stop in the area where there's not really any other truck stops, they'll charge $20.
Wow.
Right. I've seen the Pilot. If you have reservations, you pay the $10. But if you're getting a reserved spot after hours that hasn't been claimed, they'll charge you $20.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So I mean, and the biggest ripoff for pay parking is the TAs. A TA normally has, a normal size TA will have anywhere from 200 to 300, parking spaces, right? What they've done is let's say if they have 300 total parking spaces, right? 50 of those would be normal, 3 would be handicapped, and the rest you have to pay for.
Wow. So they're making bank on people in their parking lots.
They are doing cartwheels all the way to the bank. And it's the supply and demand. Hey, there's nowhere for these truckers to park. They want to park here, they gotta pay us. Where else are they going to park?
That just seems wrong. Are you able to write that as a trucker? Are you able to write that off to the company that you work for? If you have to pay for a spot at a TA, are you able to write that off with your company?
No, that's out of your pocket.
Then so the company won't pay for that if you end up having to pay for a spot.
Nope. Out of your pocket.
That's not right.
So what's what are the best trucker friendly states that you've been in?
Let's see. Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania has a lot of rest area pull, like these, I call them, they're like little pull-ins. And they had a sign there to say, hey, park behind this yellow line, and they got these little pull-ins up and down across the highways. So, and then they got the pilot flying J's and all of that stuff, but they got the rest areas. Oklahoma's good. Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey, Southern Cross coming across there. A lot of these states, like even the ones that have these service, I'm from Jersey, right? So they had these service stations, they called them. There was always one, every 25, 50 miles from each other, all the way across the highway. And, like that, I try not to go out to California. California's horrible.
I don't blame you.
I'm sure as a trucker in California.
What I understand, California says 55 for trucks, and then there. So like when we're in an RV, we're going faster than semis in California, and then we get into Arizona, and the semis are going faster than us.
Yeah, Arizona, Nevada, they wide open. 75, 80. Coming across New Mexico. Hey man, and if they got truck, Georgia's good. Georgia, I don't really have any problems. Even, coming across, once you stay away from Atlanta, you can't be like Atlanta or something like that, running 95, 20, 25 like that, you're usually okay.
So Camping Therapy is asking if you get to claim it as an expense on taxes. So I'm assuming, if you have to pay for a parking spot, do you at least get to expense on taxes?
That would depend on what state you're in and what kind of tax person you have that they can try to figure it as operating cost. You know what I mean?
Right. So it depends on company to company.
Right. Like for me, like I don't, every now and then I pay for parking, but I make enough money where I ain't crying about it. Whatever. It's to me, it's part of the job. Every now and then I'm going to get stuck out there where I just got to pay for a spot, but I'm smart. And I get online and reserve it online, on my phone ahead of time. Like, cause I'll look and I'll say, okay, and in 2 or 3 hours, I'm going to be here and it's going to be late. So I'll just call in, right? They have my membership number or whatever. And I say, hey, I need a parking spot at the pilot number, 824. All right. Yep. This spot's there. Okay. I reserve it. They send me a confirmation email. Bing. Now I've done that. Gotten to there and all of the reserved spots were full.
Oh man.
Because drivers that didn't even pay for the spots were parking the spot. So I've got to pull up, go inside, say, hey, listen, here's me, here's my reservation, and all the spots out there are full. And then they got to send someone out there with a flashlight and they go down the line to see who does not have that receipt tag in their window. They beat on the truck, tell them to move.
So Nettie is saying California sucks. They check your rig for bugs. Bugs as in like in creature bugs or what kind of bugs?
Yeah, like creatures. Because, you got a lot of produce and, all that kind of stuff that comes in and out. So you don't want to have any kind of invasive species, coming into
Well,
your
almost kind of
coming
like
in into your
they can't
state.
avoid that because cars coming in and out of California from several different states, they really can't avoid that.
Yeah, but see, that's just it. They don't care about the cars. They
Yeah.
don't care. They care
Yeah.
about the freight that's in that box. What are you hauling? You hauling a certain thing. Oh, pull over there. Go over there. You got to get inspected. Yeah, I mean, that's why I don't. Hey, if I can stay out of California, I stay way out of California. Yeah, KNR, Arizona. I mean, like those open states you get out there.
Uh-huh.
New Mexico, Arizona, Utah. I mean, you just running wide open. They ain't bother you. The highway patrol. Listen, if the speed limit is 75 or 80, whatever it is, right? They not bothering you. Right? You're doing 75, 80, they're not bothering you. Now, if the speed limit is 75, 80, and then you creeping up 85, 90, right? Yeah, then they're gonna pay you a visit, I got Savannah in my side. Hey, I'm trying to tell you, really, man. But the funny thing about that is I can smell the difference in the air when I get close. Yeah, from South Carolina. Yeah, I know when I'm almost home, man. Whoo-wee. Let me tell you, they make special skids. Yeah, they got the, I think, is it the blue pallets? I'm not sure. KNR, is it those? I think it's those blue ones. But they got these special colored pallets.
Oh, Chuck
that
pallets.
they those Chuck pallets, right, or whatever they call them.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's supposed to. I don't touch freight. I don't load nothing. I don't unload nothing. I sit and I drive. That's it. I'm not flatbed. I don't tarp nothing. I don't strap nothing down. I'm paid to drive. That's it.
And that's all you should be responsible for.
Yeah. I don't want no extra. This is work as it is. Why I want to do more?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's crazy. It is crazy. It took 10 days because it's so big. Yeah, Texas. Oh, yeah, Texas is going from left to right in Texas is rough. Oh my goodness! You spend 8 hours of your day driving through Texas.
Oh well, longer than that.
Yeah. Brian grew up mostly in Texas. He's
every year I drive from the Monterey Bay to San Antonio, and 8 hours. 8 hours of my drive of a 24-hour drive. 8 hours is just Texas, and I'm not even. I'm only 2/3 the way through.
Yeah. Hey, do you stop? What's that place with the big steak in Texas?
Oh, that's up in Amarillo off the 40.
Yeah, that Challenge. I didn't know if you ever been there to that Challenge.
We drove through Amarillo on our trip last November, but we didn't stop. Yeah, it's the Hungry Texan, I think is what it's called, or the Big Tex.
Yeah, I see the billboards, and I know somebody who went there.
Yeah, we didn't stop.
Yeah, I know somebody who tried it, and failed. And I'm saying to myself, that's like a quarter of a cow.
Yeah, it's 6 pounds.
Yeah, and then you got all the fixings. You got to eat all of it, like the fixings, the sides, all of it. I don't know. Melnetti, you did that? Yeah.
What did she do?
Yeah. No, I was asking if she's been there, if they've been there.
No, yeah, we've driven. I've driven by it. Driven by it every time I've been through Amarillo. No desire to stop. It's just a big tourist trap. Don't want to go there. Not at all.
Oh, hey Blake, I didn't realize that KNR was a trucker also. You might have Kyle come up if he wants.
Yeah, Kyle drove for like 25. He's been driving. Was it 25 years, Kyle?
What was the name of that restaurant we had the shrimp and grits at?
Kyle, if you want to come up and join us here, come on up.
Yeah, and then Melnetti, they had to sweep out the trailer.
Nettie
before
too.
they would load it. Yeah. Hey, Melnetti told me the story of her husband back in the trailer up, and she was fussing at him, telling him he had to get under it. He didn't know what she was talking about. You got to catch it, get under it. He's like, what are you talking about?
It's a whole different language you guys learn to be able to, like, what a gator means to me is totally different than what a gator means in truck speak and truck language, right?
Yeah, that's a tire tread that came off a tire.
You know, speaking of tire tread, when I see tire tread on the side of the road, how much does that actually affect a truck when it's driving down the road? Can they just keep driving, or do they have to pull over?
No, so let me tell you, when a tire blows on a truck, it sounds like a cannon going off. It sounds like an artillery cannon going off.
Yeah.
Boom! Like that, right? And that's why I tell people, hey, listen, do not stay beside a truck going down the road, okay? Because that tire, one of those tires explodes. That tread is coming out and back, right? And just that concussion alone from that tire blowing, it could scare someone half to death. They snatch the wheel, right? And then they're off into the median, you know, possibly flip their truck, car, trailer, whatever it is, right? So when you're passing the truck, hey, hit the gas, pass them, slow down after you a safe distance in front of them, do whatever it is. What's going on, Gary? You know, hey, but I don't know why some people do that. They will sit at the back of the trailer or the middle of the trailer or right beside you up front here, and they'll just...
This is a pet peeve I've had that I've seen of cars. Okay, I'm a car driver. I want to be able to pass this semi. But these people get like afraid to get up next to the semi and pass them. So they like hang out right at your tail end, you know, because they're like afraid to pass, you know, and I'm like, just pass them already. You know?
Or move out the way. But they won't pass and they won't move out the way.
Exactly. I'm like, what the hell?
I don't, you know, there's a fear, but that they get like fear stricken that they're right there. They're afraid to pass. What's up, dude? They're afraid to pass. You know, and they get stuck right there unless, you know, the highway opens up like, you know, like from 2 lanes to 3. Then there's a gap, and then they'll sort of get in that far lane and go around, you know. But people do so, and he's been doing it longer. I mean, way much.
25 years, right, Kyle?
Yeah,
25. Yeah, I was 22 when I got my license.
She brings him a hat.
Hey, get your hat. Too much shine. Put your hat
I know,
on.
right? I'm like blinding myself.
yeah. But I mean, you know, but see what I did, right? When the Lord told me that He needed me to get in a truck, right, and do this. You know, I had no idea coming out the military, right? I was just going to retire. I said, I'm going home. I'm retired. I make enough money. I'm going to chill out and just enjoy my 0-turn mower, right? But He had other plans for me. Hence, I know all of y'all now.
Enjoy your 0-turn mower.
Yeah, man. Hey, right? I earned that 0-turn mower. What are you talking about?
I ain't mad at you, man. If I was big time like you, I wish I had a 0-turn.
But I mean,
Mo, what's that?
I was able to. I started connecting with owner operators before I even got my CDL, and talking with them, asking them, hey, what is it like being out there? What is it like to own your own? What is all of this world like? Because it's a totally different world that I'm stepping into. And I was fortunate enough that guys like them and guys like that guy down there that have been doing it for so long were willing to share that knowledge and that power, right? Because knowledge is power, right? And they were able to share all of that. So when I stepped into this realm, I already knew what I was getting into. I knew what my responsibilities were, and it was like a seamless transition. You know, I got in the truck and I took off.
Gary, we all wish we had his money.
Hey man, listen. Let me tell y'all something, man. I get sick of y'all saying that, man. And Gary, get out my pocket. Lil Gary. I'm gonna call him Lil Gary because he's only 4 foot tall. So Lil Gary, listen close.
Hey, let me tell you this. I honestly don't know what truckers, like over the road truckers, get paid anymore, because I've been off over the road for probably about 5-6 years now. But when I was driving, when I started, we were making 23 cents a mile. Now you take that and try to put how many hours you have to drive, how many miles you got to cover to make a decent living throughout the week. And then finally, I got boosted up to, I think I was around 48 cents a mile, but I had to drive 25 to 3,000 miles a week.
Oh, wow.
To make any type of a living. I mean, it was just, they ran us in, and that's back when, I shouldn't even say this, but that's back when 2 logbooks were sitting in the cab on a regular.
yeah. For you to be able to
Blake,
make money.
And Blake probably knows what I'm talking about. I know he's only been doing it for about a year, but at one point we did have paper logbooks that we carried. Some cats had 3 or 4 on them, and I don't know how you kept all of them in order. But in a lot of the trucks these days,
it's electronic.
They started. I think about 2 or 3 years ago, they started the electronic logs.
Yes,
on a lot of the trucks, and really with that you can't fabricate that. Yeah. Not even a little bit.
And I'm sure it was a lot different now for Blake than it would be for you, Kyle, because when he goes down the road now, don't you get, like, when you're passing a way station, don't you have something that you have to tell that way station where?
Well, they got a what they call a pre-pass.
A pre-pass.
And yeah, that and they, man, I wish I knew how many years ago they came out with that. But a lot of companies went to this, and they pay a certain fee each year for these trucks to have this little gizmo in their trucks that when they come up on it, and you probably see even the RVs, because there's some way stations that say all trucks pull in. Whether you're driving an RV, whether you're driving a box truck, it doesn't matter. You got to pull in there. But you'll notice that above you'll have sensors that you'll be driving underneath. And they actually scan
those sensors.
Yeah, it'll actually scan and like Blake and I in the newer trucks, when we're driving by there, you'll hear beep, 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 and it'll say, yeah, you're good to go by, which means we always joke because that means that, our company paid the bill that month. or it'll give you that beep, that long beep, and your little light turns red, and they're saying, nah, y'all need to come in and see us. And then you'll have the option either way when you get into the way stations to either, sometimes you'll go across a couple of scales, because when you come into the way station, before you even reach it, they've got little scales sitting there that they'll hit you before you even get up to the actual way station. Right. And if you're off just a little bit, they get a signal inside the way station, and you'll either be able to just bypass, or they'll pull you in and they'll either do an axle weigh on you, or they'll do a full truck weigh on you.
Yeah. So if you ended up being overweight on an axle or something like that, okay, like Blake was saying, he's driving his rig, and he's pulling whatever this company wants him to pull. But if it ends up overweight, it's on you.
Well, here's the disadvantage. Okay, so when I did a lot of flatbed, that's why I made the comment about the tarp. So for a long time, I drove flatbed. So basically, we were in charge of our material that we put on the truck. So they bring it out and they're saying, hey, where do you want this? And what we would do was tell them where we wanted this load, because we had to make sure that it was balanced out throughout the trailer. You got a 48-foot or you got a 53-foot trailer, or sometimes we've got a 60-foot trailer, depending on what we're hauling, because we used to do heavy haul and rigging and wide loads. So it all depended. Blake has a box truck. He does no-touch freight. So he has to have faith in his people that they're going to load that pretty evenly for him, because – and I don't know if they're going to hit you with an overweight ticket, if you ever will, or if they even put the material on there to be overweight at any point. But with the no-touch freight, you got to have faith in the people that are loading your truck, that they're going to load it pretty evenly for you and not go overweight either on your drives or on your trailer. You know what I'm saying?
Axles.
They balance that out pretty well. That's
Yeah, and when I get loaded, my next stop is to a Catskill, and that's why, like,
see, that's the thing is getting people in that habit. A lot of people, I'm loaded, I'm out.
Right,
Right.
yeah, I go to the Catskill.
And if you put that in relation to RV'ers, it's actually worse with RV'ers because some people don't understand their weight limits, gross weight limits. So they just start filling and packing and being happy to head down the road, and they could be like way overweight when they're heading down the road.
Oh yeah. When we first started researching this, and I'm coming from the trucker background, I guess we had the advantage. Because from the trucker background, as soon as we started researching everything, that was our first deal, is like being overweight, because DOT can tag you guys, just tag RV'ers just as badly as they can truckers of going down and being overweight. So if they can stop you, they'll say either you got to empty this trailer out because these axles are overweight, because that's just dangerous.
Right.
I mean, let's just be honest. You load something overweight, you got the chances of them axles breaking and causing not only damage to you, but your rig and people around you. That's just dangerous driving.
But it's also a lack of knowledge, because people who have pull trailers, fifth wheels, not as much maybe with Class Bs and Class As, but I think that they don't recognize or understand, or never just been taught, hey, there's a weight that your truck can handle pulling. There's a weight that your truck can handle having in the truck itself, as well as the weight of the trailer that you're pulling. So with you guys as truckers, you guys are regulated by the states, that you're allowed to have so much weight, but the RV'ers, they don't have that regulation. Am I correct?
No, you guys do. RV,
I think
your RV does. You do. But the difference is the DOT, okay, the Department of Transportation, no matter what state you're in, they are more focused on
commercial,
the truck drivers, than they are the recreational.
Well, that's where the money's at. Yeah, Blake's
RV, right.
That's
So, but now, yes, like when you go and look at a travel trailer, class, whatever it is, and it tells you, hey, it weighs this much, your gross is this, right? Because the DOT is saying, hey, listen, if you buy that product, if you buy that item, or you're hauling that load, you are responsible for everything that entails that item, right? So if you have a Class A, Class B, Class C, and it weighs 5,000 pounds and your gross vehicle weight is 7,000 pounds, so that leaves you 2,000 pounds of cargo carrying capacity, right? And you load it up and you're at 8,000 pounds, that's no one else's fault but your own.
Right.
But
that's why. Go ahead, Blake. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you good. So then, but no one is really holding the recreational person responsible until there's a wreck.
Right.
And then they nail you to the coffin, because then they come out, the Department of Transportation, the DOT officers, they come out, the state troopers, they do an accident investigation. They look at you and say, oh, your RV was 2,000 pounds overweight. I mean, don't you know better? And what do you mean? The salesperson told us we were good. They don't want to hear that.
Well, that's so taking it back, that's the salespeople's fault there, especially when you get RV'ers coming in, you get the newbies, I guess they call them the newbies, that come in and they're all excited because they just bought this truck and they want to get this RV and they want to get out there. Honestly,
I want to make people laugh.
Yeah, honestly, they as salespeople should do their due diligence and say, okay, well, you bought this, but you bought this particular truck. You look up the specs on this truck. This truck can haul this amount safely. And then from there say, okay, so with that being said, we can look at RVs or, whatever it might be in this size. But a lot of times you get them cats out there that just want to get that dollar, and they say, "Oh, you bought a 2,500. Crap, you can haul 15,000 pounds. Let's go look at this fifth wheel over here that where the full, I mean, the rig unloaded is 14,000 pounds.
Right.
Not even considering the people, the and all the stuff you're talking about putting in there. You know how much stress that puts on not only the truck, the hitch, the axles, the tires, and everybody knows they put the cheapest tires on the market on them friggin' rigs out of the gate. Yeah, exactly. And that's what you see these fools going down there. I mean, I was laughing whenever Blake talked about that. You see the V in the truck. You know how many times we've seen that? You driving by someone, you're like, oh my goodness, that's
crazy. I've seen that. It's just crazy. Yeah, well, see, because when we got this rig, it says what the front weight and what the back weight could be. But when I'm filling the rig up, I don't know how much everything weighs and where it's all. I'm putting canned food over here, and I'm putting clothes over there, stuff that weighs. And I had no clue whatsoever how much our rig weighed. So before, right at the beginning of our last trip that we took from the coast to coast trip, we actually stopped at a cat scale, because if I knew that we were going to be driving that distance, I wanted to make sure we were within, our weight capacity. But I don't think a lot of RVers do that, and it's crucial.
That's honestly, that's the very first thing. I mean, and like Blake said, I mean, as soon as he's loaded, he heads for a scale. And to make sure that everything is, because you don't want to be heavy on your drives or heavy on, and that's when you got to decide, okay, so I don't know if you could do it on yours, Blake, but can you split the axles?
No, so on our
or do you just move them back or forward?
Yeah. Our tandems are together, so we just slide them back and forth, and then my fifth wheel plate is locked in place. So it's an air slider fifth wheel plate, but with this company, we are not allowed to slide.
Yeah, and that's the thing about it, is that a lot of times they'll put it like right in the middle and say, well, that's where it stays. You can't move it. Right. You can't make any adjustments. So again, you're putting your faith in the company that they're going to load that trailer right and keep you within all your specs and within regulations.
Yeah, and I mean, like our Epic.
Yeah, Gary, that's the reason why we went to a cat scale. I wanted to know how much we were going to weigh.
And that's what I mean. When you buy a new truck, that should be the first thing you do. Don't go off what that little yellow sticker says, because that little yellow sticker on the inside of your door is basically a template that they feed out that this particular vehicle made this particular way is supposed to weigh this much. So you need to go and get that weighed immediately, and then when you get your rig empty with your truck, you take that to the scale and you weigh that entire thing. And I would even recommend it weighing it per axle. Like roll up on that thing slowly and let them weigh that thing per axle if you need to. And that will give you a good perspective on when you load it, where you can safely put certain items. I'm getting really technical. I know I'm breaking things down. You brought me back to my flatbed days where we were trying to, balance everything out on the load, and it probably doesn't need to be that specific.
But it's really good that you're saying this, because I think the RV community really needs to recognize and be more aware of their weights on the road. Because how many RVers actually go to a cat scale and weigh their rig,
And like to go back up here to something our Epic said, too many RVers have no idea about weights, how much weight a truck can tow safely, weight distribution, etc. The cause of most RV tire blowouts are probably weight and then PSI issues. So if you have a configuration that's already overloaded, right, and then the manufacturer put cheap tires on there that are maybe deload tires, right, and not E-rated tires,
right?
And even with E-rated tires, there's a difference between E-rated China tire and an E-rated Goodyear Assurance, right? there's a difference in the build quality of the components that they use to make that tire.
Hey, I'm going to say this. Hey, Michael, you going to call me up on this tech talk? Can I be a part of it this time, Mr. Mega Channel?
Yeah, man. You know, and then the RV dealerships, like Kyle said, right? Okay, what kind of vehicle you got? Let's look at the door. Okay, we're good. And then and then you're off, right? So when they're advertising, and this is why I like, let me tell you, I like Paul, the Air Force guy. Okay, because Paul
Sing that, brother.
is when I tell you Paul is a honest salesman.
There's such a thing.
I'm telling you, hey, Blake's not lying. I called him because we're like this close. We're like this close. So he was like my first call. And, you know, the unfortunate truth is that he can't find anything that I'm looking for right now because everything's shut down. But he asked what my truck was. And I heard this. He's like, all right, what you got? What you driving? Okay. All right. So your truck can do this. Your hitch can do this. We can do this, and this is what you're looking for, which is exact. I already did the due diligence, and I looked that up. I went to GM's website, put in my VIN number, and they brought up every single bit of my specs on my truck. So I made it I made it my point to stay within that, and I had multiple dealerships telling me, "Oh, well, that truck can do this. No, you can do this." I know what my truck can do, but I don't want my truck being torn apart in the first 6 months I have this thing, and then possibly cause not only damage to myself, but anybody else on the road.
Right.
Yeah. And so there's two RV dealerships and then two RV salespeople. Well, three really that I trust. Right. Paul, and then Haylett RV. You got Josh, who's not in sales. He's the face of Haylett for YouTube, right? He does all that stuff. And my sales lady up there, Joelle. Those are the only three people that I talk with about purchasing an RV and different weights and all of that stuff, because they are concerned with making sure I don't buy something and I go down the road and it's going to kill my truck, kill me and my wife, or kill someone else, because I might be at that fine line, right? Of gross, right? So when I talked, right, yeah, exactly. Because you know, so when I talk to Miss Joelle up at Haylett and Josh, and then I talk to Paul, you know, I take everything that they give me collectively, right? Because, you know, you're balancing what this is saying, that's saying, and you want to make sure you get the full truth of everything. And I never have any questions when I get done with them, because they'll say, hey, listen, this is what this weighs sitting right here. Because a lot of dealerships will read those numbers off the sticker, right? And yeah, that's the manufacturer's weights with nothing in it.
Right.
So when you add in the extra stuff, the propane tanks, the spare tire, the gray, black tank, and all of that stuff, that trailer that they're saying weighing 6,000 pounds, when it arrives at the dealership with all the options, it's more like 7,000 pounds.
Well, that's why. Hey, Mike had a good point. I had to go up a little bit, and that's another good thing is that when people hit the road, if you go up, it says if we make any major changes, a little bit further, go up one more.
One more.
Our epic RV adventure. There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
That right there is key. When y'all are doing something and you decide to make any type of changes, or you load more stuff in there, because like we're gonna have the motorcycle on ours, so that I know how much that motorcycle weighs, but mixed in with the RV weight, I mean that's an additional. Even though they say it weighs 800 pounds, I push it to 1,000 pounds. So you make any changes to your rig, no matter what it is, you always gotta go and get it reweighed. I mean, just to be on the safe side.
Yeah, and like Gary, wait a minute, not Gary. I'm sorry, the American Wanderer. I think the full time and most full time RVers know, but the weekend RVers are clueless. Yeah, it's like the weekend boaters.
Yeah,
that's why I don't go on the water on the weekend no more.
No. No.
I stopped doing it, man, because they will kill somebody.
I'm telling you.
You
Those
know?
guys that got they go out there and they blow all that money. And you know what? And Blake's right. It's RVs the same way, man. They go out there, they got too much money. They got too much money and not enough brains. And they go out there and they blow all this money on something stupid and ridiculous. And then don't know how to use it.
And then all they have on their mind is getting to that campground for the weekend and how they're going to party.
Oh yeah.
So to kind of wrap things up a little bit with the two of you, and what would be your best advice from a trucker's perspective for RVers on the road?
Go ahead, Blake.
First,
you were the host. Hey, look, I just stepped in, man. You were number one on the show. I just came in afterwards, man.
Hey, man, it's good.
I'm not going to step on your toes. Do your thing.
The first thing is weigh your stuff.
Amen.
That's the first step. I mean, I'm talking about before you even buy it. If you go to a dealership and you're interested in a unit and you're thinking about purchasing that unit, you can either have them take it to the CAT scale themselves.
Yeah, they'll drive it down there.
Drive it to the CAT scale, weigh that trailer as it sits on their lot, and have them bring you the scale ticket. It will show you what their truck weighed, minus the trailer, and then the tongue weight of the rear axle with the trailer, because they got to unhook the trailer first, drive onto the scale, get that weight, then back up, hook to the trailer, pull it onto the scale, and then they get the combined weight, right? And that would tell you exactly the true weight of whatever it is you're trying to buy, right? So proper weight for
due diligence on what your vehicle can handle, for sure.
Yeah. And then speed, right? When you're towing something, folks, listen to me. If you are hauling a fifth wheel or whatever, first of all, they made out of tin and fiberglass, right? If you blowing past me, because I've got a thing in front and it'll tell me how fast people are going in front of me, right? I've had people blow past me hauling a trailer doing 80 miles an hour.
Well, dude, you're governed at 55, man. What do you expect?
No, 65, bro. 65. 65, okay? But listen, 65, if you towing something, 65 is a safe speed, right? So, because think about it. The way these RVs and travel trailers and all of that stuff are designed, they are going to blow apart.
Yeah, that's about as real talk as it comes. I mean, when we did heavy haul and wide loads and stuff, it was 55. We weren't allowed to go over that. And that's just for the safety of everything around. But I agree with Blake. I think when you're hauling something, it don't matter what your truck can do or whatever vehicle you're driving. I think between 55 to 65 would be a safe speed.
Yeah, take your time.
A lot of that not going on out there.
Trust me. I mean, look, I don't have a governor on my truck. And I'll be doing 70, 75, and some fool with an RV comes flying past me. I'm like, no. I start slowing down because I'm thinking, shoot, before long, I'm going to roll up on this cat, and he's going to be in pieces on the side of the road.
Right, yeah.
That's just silly to me.
Yeah, so another thing would be change your mentality, slow down, take your time.
Well, that's what it is, man. It's just, I mean, changing, not... I understand the excitement. Don't get me wrong. Everybody gets excited about heading out of town and getting to where you want to be. And
all right,
look, this cat will also set the cruise control and go and hang back out in the back because he thinks it's going to drive it there.
It's a Tesla.
Yeah, that's what I told him. I said, when you become a mega channel, you get the Tesla rig, I guess.
Yeah,
But I mean,
they stay around.
You the whole mentality of it is changing from a safety perspective rather than not just the excitement of getting out there and doing your thing. But I mean, safety's got to be key, man. It's like, what's that sticker on the side of the windows? Get out and look. I mean, just checking your rig, making sure, just keeping it safe. If you guys change your mentality on wanting to make sure that you drive at a safe speed and your rig is hooked up and and all of that is where it's supposed to be.
Right.
Then,
Yeah.
Yeah, because
that
you know,
extra-
I think the mentality is kind of crucial, because I was one of those kind of people when I was driving in a car, getting from point A to point B was my focus. And if the speed limit was 75, I was going 85. You know,
Amen.
I was one of those bullets down the road.
Oh yeah.
But now that I'm driving, you know, if I'm driving a rig, my mentality is completely different. I've slowed down, I'm kicking back, I'm relaxing, you know, I'm not in a hurry to get to my destination. So the RVer versus the trucker, they got someplace they got to be. The RVer's casually heading down the road. But
Well,
in every aspect, that mentality is crucial to safety.
yeah. I mean, I agree with it's just it's all a safe thing. That's all it comes down to. Being safe, knowing your rig, knowing your weights, and just I mean, what's an extra hour on your time? Like honestly, to get where you need to be.
Right.
So,
and if anybody knows the truckers heading down the road, you guys have seen it all, I'm sure, from
Oh yeah. It gets downright horrible. You know?
Oh, I bet your guys is in your truck talk. I bet you guys have quite the language of stupidity for people out on the road. I'm sure it's
oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You always.
I mean, look, just like Gary typed in there, you know, enjoy the journey, right? That's what Lily says. Yeah. I mean, because you only get one life to live, man. You only get one life to live. So trying to get somewhere in a hurry and you end up wrecking yourself, you know, what you've worked hard for, right? Trying to enjoy it. You know, you get a blowout, you smear it all across the highway, you flip yourself on the side. I mean, over what? You know, it just gets ridiculous.
Always remember, man, you live every day, but you only die once.
True that.
Be safe. Be safe out there. Don't get crazy, man. It's just because you gotta remember, I mean, it's not just your life out there, not just your life. And Blake knows this. It's not just us. You know, we go down, we could take out an army of people. And that's the most frightful thing. And RVers are the same. The big rigs coming by, if they lose control, it's not just them. It's everybody around them that could go down with them. So again, just be safe, man. That's all what it comes down to it.
All right. Well, I really appreciate the two of you being up here and talking about the safety and the comparisons between trucks and RVers. You know, because the whole point, I hope, that somebody can get out of that safety and having a good time and being safe on the road and being respectful, you know, having the courtesy on the road, which is really important. And so I really appreciate you guys being up here and talking with us about it. And
remember, stay out the trucker's way.
Right.
If you see me barreling down in the hammer lane and you're doing 55, man, you got two choices. I'm either gonna push you or you're gonna get over.
Right.
Hey man, listen, I don't pay for insurance. It's cool.
That's why I got that bull guard on the front. I'm telling you.
Hey, Brian and Lucy, thank you for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey,
so thank you also, Kyle, for coming up.
Blake, be safe, brother. We'll holler at you.
Yeah, man. You too, dude.
All right.
Bye now.
Take care. All right, Blake. Thank you again for coming up and talking with us. And
yeah, man, it's been an hour and a half. Holy
I know.
smokes.
I looked at the time and went, holy crap, I got to end this.
Hey, we just sitting having a good old time.
Right. And hopefully somebody got something out of, you know, maybe learning a little something while being on the road with the rigs.
And I tell anyone, hey, listen, if you have any questions of me, please do not hesitate to send me an email.
Yeah.
Anyone that sends me an email, I'll respond to them. Trust me. It may not be right away if I'm driving to something, but when I'm stopped, I will respond to your email. newvision712@gmail.com.
There you go.
Yes.
So if moderator can put his website and maybe email on there. So if any of you, pretty much from what I'm seeing in the comments here, everybody that's here at the chat is pretty much everybody knows Blake, and everybody, you know, knows us. But if somebody comes in and they don't know the safeties about RVing or trucking or courtesy on the road, for sure, give Blake a contact, an email, and you know, ask him questions, because it's better to ask and know than to be on the road and be stupid. Right?
Yeah. I mean, you got the I tell everyone, download the and I think someone put it in the chat earlier. I think Michael put it in there. But download the CAD Scale app on your phone. You set up an account, put the app on your phone, you pull up onto the scale, you just open the app up, it's going to tell you the location where you're at, you verify it, pull up on there, you do everything right on your phone, you ain't got to get out, you ain't got to talk to nobody, and it emails you the weights.
Great. Awesome. Well, thanks again, Blake, for coming up and enlightening us on all your adventures and information on the road. I really appreciate you coming.
And next time, don't be so shy.
Yeah, man. I'm sorry, I was a little nervous. No. Thank y'all for having me. Everybody in the chat, y'all have a blessed evening. I'll see you later.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right now. Yep.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for coming and saying hi and talking on the chat. We really appreciate you being here. That's off to you.
Bye now.